You're a writer, then you probably have a pretty rich fantasy life, or you spend a lot of time daydreaming. You certainly, I have. And it seems to me it's a good practice for writing, using your mind in this way, picturing what doesn't currently exist in front of you. It's what you have to do when you write, after all. You sit there and imagine something that isn't what's happening to you right then. Power of the mind, very important. I noticed, however, I've spent a lot of time daydreaming, fantasizing throughout my life, but I always noticed that a lot of times what I was daydreaming about is what I thought I wanted. And invariably, the way I pictured it and the way it happened were never the same thing. It was almost like if I was picturing it in this very specific way. Okay, this will happen, and then that'll happen, and then it'll come together, and I'll feel great. It was almost like guaranteed that was not how it's going to happen. Doesn't mean I didn't get what I want in my life. Indeed, I have, but it never came the way I thought it would. There was my fantasy, and then there was the reality of how it happened. And this reminds me of fiction writing in particular. When I was writing fiction, I wanted to tell a good story, but I was always trying to balance in my mind as I was dreaming this story, balance what I was manufacturing, what I kind of wanted to happen, and what the story wanted to have happen. And I could feel the difference, but sometimes it was subtle, because I could dream or picture something, make up something that seemed real, but that just had that quality of inauthenticity I didn't want, unlike the stuff that was more inspired and really came to me that felt truer. And so I was always trying to balance how much of it was my idea, my manipulation, and how much of it was what the story wanted to be. We were always working with that. What I think of is the difference between fantasy, which is me trying to create these circumstances for my own happiness, and reality, which is the organic way it comes. And writing is certainly a great way to practice that. And the more I have practiced that, the difference between fantasy and reality, although both are happening in my mind, I've come to understand that the only thing real in life is love. That's the only thing I can honestly follow and trust. And I don't mean just romantic love, although that is absolutely a important important expression of love. I've always said that the decision to marry Jen, the woman I'm married to, is the choice against which all of the choices are are made. And I remember the day when I had moved up to be with her. I'd been in LA and I came up to Seattle, and we had made this arrangement. Well, come up for 6 months and then we'll see how it's going. Then you can go back down, and finish pursuing a career in screenwriting. And so I came up, and we spent 6 months together. And then the date came when I was supposed to supposedly decide if I was going to move or not. And I knew I could move, right? I mean, I had that choice, but it felt oddly like suicide. In other words, I could do it, but it would be making a choice that wasn't me, that was going against myself, against reality, which was I wanted to be with her. And so it's why I stress for fearless writing, pursuing what you love. It's the only thing true you can really trust and believe in. And you know it based, of course, on how it feels. But more than that, it's something you discover and observe. You can't manufacture it. You can't make yourself romantically love someone you don't romantically love. And you can't make yourself write a story you don't want to write, even though you love to write. You can't love writing every story. So the only thing trustworthy in life is love. And you can't manufacture it. You aren't in charge of it. You simply obey it. And that's okay, because it's always there for you. I would say your whole life ultimately is an expression of love. And I think every story is a love story for that reason. So trust it. Again, don't try to make it. Just listen to it. Wait for it. And when you see it, and you know it when you do, all you can do is follow it. There's nothing else to do. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Hey, thanks for tuning in. As always, if you don't want to miss a dose, hit subscribe. And if you like it, say so. I love to hear from you. So until next week, this is Bill Kenower. Stay fearless.